Hello, my name is Gabriel Graham, and the purpose of this video is for my continued candidacy for the Social Studies position at Warwick School District. For this video, I was asked to answer 3 questions pertaining to my educational background, my approach to communication, as well as 3 elements that I think are essential to a quality lesson. So, looking at the first question, in high school, I did struggle quite a bit academically, and this was mainly due to a number of adverse childhood experiences that I had gone through. It wasn't until I moved out on my own and began college that I truly saw my potential as a future educator. During this time, I had a full-time job in order to support myself, and I was able to maintain good grades and a high GPA. I am a recent graduate of St. Vincent College in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and during my time at the college, I volunteered working with special needs students at Greater Latrobe High School. I was a tutor at Greensburg-Salem Middle School. I was given the opportunity to design and teach a middle school and high school level class through St. Vincent's Step Up program, and I worked as a camp counselor and was recently promoted to the leadership team with St. Vincent's Challenge program, which is a STEM summer camp that is held each year at the college. I also became a member of the Education Honor Society Kappa Delta Pi, as well as the History Honor Society Phi Alpha Theta. Now, I believe these experiences make me an excellent candidate for this position because they show my drive in academic growth as well as being an active member in the community around me. I think they also highlight how I can work with various age groups and academic levels while also bringing a sense of compassion and understanding to my classroom. Looking at the second question pertaining to my approach to communication, when it comes to students, I want to be clear and concise about the expectations in my classroom from the very beginning so that students are able to form a routine. I want to communicate with students when I notice they are struggling in the classroom, either academically or behaviorally, so that we can implement whatever is necessary to help them correct those issues and ensure their success. I also want to communicate with students when I notice they are improving in the classroom so that this encourages them to stay consistent with that type of behavior. When it comes to families, I want to maintain consistent communication with family members in order to provide them with up-to-date progress reports on how their child is doing in the classroom. I want to work with family members to come up with any game plans on how to address certain issues both in and out of the classroom to ensure their child's success. Now, this type of communication doesn't just mean informing the parent when their child is struggling. I also want to update them when their child is succeeding and provide positive feedback whenever necessary. I believe that by doing this, it reminds the parents that I am on their team and I am willing to help in any possible way to ensure that their child is successful. When it comes to my colleagues, I want to communicate with them to discuss what areas they are working on in their classroom to see if I can align anything in my social studies classes with their material so that both classes can complement each other. An example of this was in high school. During my English class, we read books on the Holocaust, such as Anne Frank's diary, while also learning about the Holocaust and World War II in our history classes. I also want to work closely with my colleagues to gain insight and suggestions on how to handle any situations or issues that may arise within my classroom to see how they have approached a similar issue in the past. Finally, looking at the 3 important elements of a quality lesson, I think the first important element is the introduction. I believe that a quality lesson needs a strong anticipatory set that will grab students' attention and get them interested or excited to further explore a topic. I also believe that how the teacher themselves introduce the topic is important because when students see that their teacher is excited, it's going to set the tone of the classroom and it could also make them excited. Another important element is the level of student engagement with the material as well as the implementation of differentiation. Not all students are going to learn the same way, and while some students are going to respond to a lecture-style approach, others will not. This is why it's important to find ways to get students engaged with the material that they are being taught, as well as incorporating differentiation so that a wider range of students can be reached. Finally, I think a strong conclusion or bell ringer activity is important to a quality lesson. Once the lesson has concluded, it's important to include an engaging bell ringer activity that not only can gauge students' knowledge in the lesson, but also drive students to ask follow-up questions. I believe that all these elements combined show that if the lesson was successful or not. By getting students excited about what will be discussed in that day's lesson, it will be easier to maintain their focus and attention. By incorporating work that is both engaging and touches upon the different types of learning, there's a greater chance that a wide range of students will be reached within the lesson. And finally, by providing a bell ringer activity, it will allow me to track student data and see if there are any areas that students are struggling with that may need to be addressed, and it could help drive my students' curiosity to explore further into a topic. Thank you, and I hope to be hearing from you soon.